So guess who's good at talking to the heart? Latinos have always been considered very emotional people. Is it a stereotype or the truth? The way they're brought up, their education, their political and social views. Does it help them to do a better job of reaching the hearts of people? Does the emotional spirit of Latinos help them to make brands more emotional? To find out, we interviewed experts from all over the world, people with vastly differing experiences, but all centered in communication, creativity, and business. And their opinions have helped us to discover if Latinos really are better at expressing their emotions. But let's start at the beginning, stereotypes, because there is at least a shred of truth in all of them. The Latin lover, the dramatic summer romance of a friend in Brazil, the shouting taxi drivers in Bogota, the Real Madrid football fanatics. Yes, Latinos are more emotional in their daily lives, and their experiences are more passionate than others.
We discovered in our study that Latin people put everything we have to all we do. Maybe it's because of the support of our friends, family, and even religion. We enjoy ourselves where we work, and we work really hard.
Our first point, Latinos are more passionate.
And I think somehow there's just a natural talent to be able to express themselves, and that can mean pushing the limits of creativity.
Work with Latinos means work with much more passion.
This ability to laugh and love and hug and cry, I think it is unique to a Latin spirit.
Just as Santos Patti says, Latinos are more passionate, they believe more in what they do, and there's a certain style to their creativity.
Owing to our political system, we learned to be flexible, to be strong, and to be open to new solutions. When everybody thinks it's not the moment, we believe that's the moment. We fight, we get involved for our ideas, for our points of view, bringing ideas to life.
The second conclusion, they fight to bring their ideas to life.
Es la capacidad de adaptación a través de la improvisación. Y eso es una herramienta laboral muy valiosa.
They really tend to care. And I think when you work with someone who cares so much about the quality of the end product, about the project that they're working on, you know you're getting 100% of their brain power, of their creativity, and of their passion, and that often shows in the work.
Fernando Bellotti's opinion here helps us to understand the point much better. He says that Latinos learn from disadvantage, owing to the absence of good education standards, repeated economic crises, and ongoing needs. This forces them to develop their own style of working, where effort and improvisation are the order of the day.
Us Latinos have learned, that life is short and that we better live it to the fullest and take the most advantage out of it. Is this the result of all the problems in our country? I don't know, but I do guess that Latins have learned to be greater fighters, to never give up. And somehow we live like in a better version, where you always have to improving our own version of ourselves. So yes, I guess we are strong creatures that can tackle almost any circumstance.
Our third insight, Latinos live through experiences in beta mode.
Managers that work it in Latin countries made them bulletproof.
Los latinos confían en sus instintos, incluso si esto implica correr algún riesgo.
In the words of Sergio Alcocer, the big secret of the Latinos is that they tend to live without thinking about the future, and they are capable of transforming the worst circumstances into an opportunity to celebrate.
Latin culture born from coming together from several cultures. This is really important because it was and it is a mixture, a mutually nurtured mixture that help us to add values, accept each other, have learned to be more open, more curious, and of course more spontaneous in the world around us, with no barriers or filters, just from the heart. And this is a unique and really important thing. It's from the heart.
Our fourth conclusion, Latinos defend their right to be themselves.
There's a sense of collaboration, and our business is all about working together and extracting ideas and learning from each other and building on it. And I think Latins just tend to collaborate and be more social than some other people, and I think that shows often in the work and in the depth and breadth of the creativity you get.
See, a Latin culture creates exactly the kind of empathy and passion that's critical to the creative process, and a culture that values freedom.
The Latin spirit to me is the cocktail shaker.
The Latino mentality is different, and that's pretty clear. As Fernando Vega Olmos tells us, while others hide what they feel, I put it right out there. I love connecting with people. What happens to people is important to me.
We are used to see them surrounded by people, friends. We are used to celebrate very close to our family because that's the way it is. That's one of the main sources of our happiness. It's to be together and to celebrate with the others around us. We always like to be together.
This brings us to our fifth point. They are more sociable and need to share.
América Latina es un mundo plural que ha permitido y permite la convivencia de todas las culturas.
El saber añadir un toque de humor cuando a otra cultura no le podría ser un toque de humor porque lo que está pasando es intolerable.
We mustn't forget here that, as Nuno Fernandez says, creativity has a human factor and a warmth to it. The way in which Latinos behave is reflected in their creativity.
What's true is that as Latinos, we grow up in a much more family-oriented environment with very, very strong social values. The result of these social values might be somehow the depth of our human interactions that we're used to. The reality is that we do connect in a much more intuitive and instinctive way, and that we somehow all come together in a very, very human place.
And this is our final conclusion. They get on together from a more instinctive and human place. This insight really helps Latinos in their working lives, because as Luis Sachs says, we Latinos are more relaxed when it's needed, and more emotional too. We are more intense, so we are simpler, and that allows us to focus more on a given idea.
The way I see it, Latin people don't express themselves, they explode. Whenever they're creating something, they explode.
La tecla que están tocando está muy dentro, y la están tocando porque ellos también la tienen.
There can't be any doubt. Latinos are the best at talking heart to heart. It's their way of being, their way of approaching life. It's this something, this mindset in which we find closeness, freedom, and empathy, among much, much more. This is what attracts people to Latino countries and what brings Latinos to every corner of the world. Here we have talked about being Latinos in our hearts. As Santiago Lucero says, being Latino is related to a mental state, to mood and spirituality, much more than to any geographical question. So what does all of this have to do with creating more emotional brands? So that we can start talking heart to heart. Because if emotions lead you to prefer one brand over another, and preferring a brand leads you to buy something, the business works. If Latinos construct emotional relationships deeply and easily, wouldn't you want a Latino spirit to create an emotional brand?